Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
On our show, we always try to find cutting-edge products, people who are doing unusual things, and we think that we have found something you're going to truly enjoy. So I have Ralph McRae. I think you're the CEO of Leading Brands. Is that the name of your company?
Yes, it is.
And the one what we're going to talk about today is called Happy Water. So who wouldn't want to drink happy water? What makes it happy, Ralph?
Well, hopefully the name, but more importantly, it contains a natural source of lithia. And lithia has been proven to help in the doses that is available in our water to improve mood and increase sense of well-being. So there are plenty of studies out there on it. It's not something that we just created. We found this natural source by the Rocky Mountains in Canada, and we extract the water from the ground, and it comes out with that material in it. And it comes from a site that's been accessed for thousands of years by the local indigenous peoples, and for the last more than 100 years or so commercially. But no one has really sat down and recently and really started to study and look at how it would be helpful in the general populace. But you can find online many articles and medical references to how lithia helps improve mood. And what's funny, and I'm sorry to drag on here, but when you look, we don't have any real objective way of determining happiness. So what we do in society is we look at the absence of things that are contrary to happy. So we look at depression and violence and anger. And if you reduce those, people are generally seen to be happier. So there are plenty of studies around that show that lithia in water, of the levels that are in happy water, helps improve mood and function and reduces depression, suicide, things like that.
Great. I mean, I think this is, as they say, there's no magic pill. Sounds like this is the magic pill.
Well, certainly not a pill. I'm not a big fan of taking pills, but for example, what's really interesting, if you go back, and I don't know if you've ever wondered where the name 7-Up came from.
I don't know.
Well, it was back in the late 1920s. It was a lithiated lemon lime soda, and back then you were allowed to add various chemicals to things. There was no FDA around, so 7-Up and other soft drinks had other things added to them. But in back in the 20s, 7-Up was lithiated, and that's where the up comes from, I believe. In the name, and I never really knew that until we started looking at this product and found the source.
Well, this is very exciting. So you're saying that today there's no lithia used in any products that we would like water? I mean, there's nothing else until you started this.
Well, there's not that I'm aware of, there's any commercially available water sources of any size around that have this water in it. Now, you can find lithia existing in groundwater. It exists in certain foods, and you can find it in beef products and poultry and certain grains. It is, but it's difficult to find what the levels are there. But most of the water sources that have lithia in it don't taste very good because they come out of the ground as hot springs, and they're very sulfurous. We just happen to have one that tastes great and doesn't have any it tastes like the best tasting spring water you ever bought. So we were very lucky to find that source. You can go into a health food store and you can find lithia supplements and those sorts of things, but the studies all seem to be based on the lithium in the water at a level that is that we find in ours.
Well, so it's not going to taste any different, though, than water, right?
No, it's a great tasting. I mean, you try it, phone me up. If you don't love it, I'll give you 10 balls or whatever else you'd like. But it's it's the best tasting water that I've had and the like.
Well, I'm expecting a sample. I'm going to have to taste this. Sounds pretty exciting to me. So, because I'm a gerontologist and we deal many times mostly with the boomers and the seniors, I was thinking that, and you mentioned the problems with depression and people being lonely, and they are having to drink a lot of water though, because they take a lot of pills. They're supposed to drink a lot of water. This sounds like the next big thing that we should be talking about.
Well, but it goes even beyond that. And if you don't mind, I just tell you a little story about how I found the site. And I was sitting in the office about 4 years ago, and I received a call from a fellow who was bottling water from that site. Now, he had a different issue. First of all, he suffered deeply from depression, and he was clinically medicated for that. But when he came in to see me, he brought his wife with him, and he said that since he started drinking this water, and this is him, not me, he was off his medications and was feeling good. And so I turned to her and I said, is that really true? And she said, look, no doubt, take the water away from him. He's not very nice to be around. And so, but his whole approach on it was something completely different. And our product is called Neurogenesis Happy Water. And when I was a kid, everybody used to tell me you were born with the maximum number of brain cells you were ever going to have, and if you treated yourself poorly, you just lost more and more of them, and that didn't help things. So with today's concern with dementia and Alzheimer's and those sorts of things, what his take on the water is that lithium in your diet at certain levels helps generate the production of neurons or brain cells, hence neurogenesis, the creation of brain cells. So his whole focus for the water was that side of it. Now, I don't. You can find studies online. You can look online. The same way if you can look and search up, and you can find it at LiveHappyWater.com. You can find a reference on our website to a lot of those articles. But his take on the whole thing was he wanted to prove that taking this water consistently would actually protect your brain and actually stimulate the growth of neurons. So if that's the case, and he's right about that, and there are some studies that you can find online that indicate that, that's part of this equation that I think is equally as important.
Yes, I'm just being spellbound by this because I personally know so many friends that are on medication for depression, and I think I need to have some of this water to give them so that they can try this. You may have really hit on something very exciting. So tell me a little bit about Leading Brands. What kind of a company is that?
Well, we were involved for 25 years in the beverage industry. If you may have heard of a brand back in the late 80s called Clearly Canadian, this company was involved in the founding and startup of that. And we went along for many, many years and developed products and beverage brands in particular that were very, very healthy. One of the brands that we first brought to market in the grocery store was called True Blue, and whereas Ocean Spray had developed cranberries, we went to blueberries because I was watching TV one day. It's amazing how these things come to you, but I was watching TV one day, and Nathan Perricone was on, and someone asked, I think Larry King asked him, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? And he didn't hesitate, and he said blueberries. Right. And he started talking about all the benefits of blueberries, antioxidants and the like, but he mentioned something called anthocyanins. And anthocyanins are basically reduce inflammation. They help again with neuroprotection, and so we got very interested in that. So we launched something which was a novelty at the time in the juice aisle in the grocery store, which was a blueberry juice cocktail made with wild blueberries and that sort of thing. And it was those anthocyanins that started me thinking about the whole neuroprotection. But then as I was watching the beverage industry and all the debate about high fructose corn syrup and sugars, and now you're starting to see a lot of discussion about whether or not we should be adding a lot of different flavors and artificial spices in essence to our foods. We came to a point in this company where we said, look, we only want to deal with products that are naturally functional. We don't want these to go out and create, a petri dish in a bottle, or we don't want to go out and create some chemical formula and sell it. If it's naturally functional, then that's what we want to get involved in. Just as we were having that debate here, coconut waters came along. And if you look at it, coconut water is naturally functional. I mean, some of them are flavored, but most of them in their raw state are, they are what they are. The problem with coconut water is there's a virtually unlimited supply of coconuts in the world. So you can have coconut water, and anybody can make one. So consequently, there are a lot of people that have coconut waters. So we searched around, and until that fellow that I referenced walked in my office with this neurogenesis idea for spring water, and we could put something in a bottle that was beneficial to you, that came from Mother Nature and didn't have a bunch of additives in it, and there were no calories to be concerned about, and you needed to hydrate yourself anyway, then that's what got us focused and committed to taking this out into the world. And that's really what was the genesis, if you will, the coin word behind that. We wanted things that are naturally functional, that there was no downside to taking, and that you didn't have to worry about, oh gosh, should I have that because there's too many calories in it, or do I have that because that's what focused us on this.
Excellent. I just love what you're saying. I'm sitting here spellbound. Something else I notice is your packaging. And, of course, we all know that we're in our car and it's hot, and we have our water bottle and it's hot because it's in plastic. But you've gone a step further.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. There's a big argument out there about whether or not we should sell water in bottles. Now, I will tell you this. From being in this industry for a quarter century, the thing about water bottles is that if you take water bottles out of the stores, as many people would argue and many environmentalists would argue, what you're left with is a decision where people have to find something to buy on an impulse consumer basis that's got calories in it. People don't not buy water bottles and then drink tap water. What they have to do is, if the water bottle is not available, they'll buy a soda.
Right.
So that I don't think is the right solution.
Right.
So we've done two things with our packaging. With our water bottles, and we have a 500 ml and a 1 liter water bottle as well in PET, which is the best recyclable plastic out there, and we've made them biodegradable. So if they end up not being recycled and end up in a landfill or an ocean, they will, over the course of time, degrade, whereas a regular PET bottle will be around for thousands of years. And so that's a concern, but we've tried to address that for our bottle because we think having a ready, available package to deal with. But what is happening out there is a trend away from those plastic bottles. Now, also, in the 5-gallon jug that you would have sitting on top of your water cooler, I'm sure if you walk around your offices, you've got one out there somewhere. There's a concern that those bottles are they have BPA in them. And BPA is a chemical, non-corrosive material that they line cans with it. They put it, but those bottles have BPA, and there's some studies that suggest BPA is not very good for your health. So that's one issue. The other issue is that some forward-thinking grocery chains, I believe Whole Foods is one of them, have decided that by, I think, next year sometime, they're going to not carry PET plastic water bottles.
Oh.
So when we heard that, they're usually at the forefront of trends, and sometimes it takes others longer to catch up with them, but they usually thought things through. So glass is not a really great alternative because glass is very difficult to recycle. If glass breaks in the recycling stream, it contaminates tons of paper. One bottle of glass breaking will contaminate a ton of paper very easily that stops it from being contaminated. So a lot of people thought, if we can't have PET, we want glass. That's not the answer. So we looked around and we tried to find another alternative for that. And when we went out, we looked at various technologies and we developed a water box. And basically, it's a water box, or a box of water in 5 liter or 10 liter. So you can actually take it home from the store. You can, if you live in an apartment and your store's down the road, you can trolley it along easily. It weighs about 10 pounds or so. It doesn't weigh 50 pounds like the water jug that you want. You put it in your fridge. You can fill a craft. You can fill that. It doesn't have all the costs associated with having a water cooler. So this water box is easily manageable. It's available in the store. You take it home, and the nice part is it has no BPA and it has 85% less plastic in it. So it's completely recyclable. In places where you have deposit and return legislation, you can take it and return it for deposit returns. It's already in the system. Now, you may say, well, that's simple. I've seen boxed wines. Well, it's not all that simple to do, and we have a patent that we're about to put into the system on it, because there was a lot of things we had to deal with the size, to deal with the different environments that you take water through. I mean, if you put it in and you freeze it and take it out, you have to be able to deal with the condensation. But So we worked for a better part of 18 months, 2 years to get that box to the point where we were happy commercializing it. And we brought that out last fall. So not only can you get the water with the benefits of the lithia and also in the water, there's calcium, magnesium, and all these other things that you basically need in your body to maintain your hydration. But now you can get it in an environmentally friendly package that's easy for you to take home, that you can put in your fridge and have that water available to you in an environmentally sensitive and responsible way. So that's what we kind of do. So we like to be in the forefront of those things, and that's where we think we are with this.
Well, I'm so glad to be talking with you. You've been doing this. You said, is this your company? You've been doing it for a quarter of a century.
No, it's a public company. It was when I arrived here many years ago now. It trades on NASDAQ. Its symbol's LBIX, Lima Bravo India X-ray. We've been doing this for a long time now. But we really think with this Happy Water that we've got something that's unique and is not duplicatable. And we think that this package is a real game changer in the market too.
Well, I'm very excited that we were sent this press release so that I could, have you on the radio show to do this, because we do a lot of cutting edge products, and we have a Cure Symposium twice a year, which consists of doctors and scientists with new ideas and innovations, and this is amazing. So, where do I go to buy a bottle of Happy Water?
Well, you can't buy it in Florida quite yet, but what I would urge you to do if you wanted is next time you're in your local Whole Foods store or health food store, go in and ask for it. And
I will.
They take those requests seriously. If consumers go in and say, "Look, where's this product? We want it," then they will contact us and ask us for it if enough people do that. So that's a really good thing to do. But I just wanted to add this too. And when we launched blueberries, it was amazing because I grew up in an area where blueberries were grown regularly and we consumed them regularly. So you understand what the
Where was that? In North Carolina? Where was it?
No. In the Vancouver, Canada area. Yeah. So they basically grow in maritime environments. But when we took True Blue into our various stores in the Midwest, and there were what do blueberries taste like? What does blueberry juice taste like? This was it's amazing. It was just a decade ago,
right.
And then when you start talking about the benefits of them, people didn't know, and there wasn't enough research that was available online to actually be able to convince them. So I can't go on this show or anywhere else and say, oh, blueberries do this or blueberries affect that, unless I've got some research upon which to base it on. So funnily enough, when we started to dig deeper into this whole lithia story, we started to uncover studies, for example, in Japan, where Japan unfortunately has the highest suicide rates of any country in the world, and by far. But places where they have some natural lithium available to them, those suicide rates are dramatically reduced. And again, they correlate happiness with things, the absence of happiness. So those are the types of things we started to find. And just last September, and I'll commend this to you as well, there was a New York Times article written by a scientist from Cornell School of Medicine, I believe, that talked about whether or not we shouldn't have lithia at the levels that are in Happy Water in our daily diets, and whether or not that shouldn't be part, and then went through and analyzed all that independent research that's out there. So the studies also, it's funny, you're talking about people from Texas. One of the main studies as to the effects of lithium in water comes out of Texas.
Really?
And it goes on and on about the effects. So if you want it and you want it available, there's an easy way to find it and get it and drink it. And you want to hydrate yourself anyways. There's no calories associated with it, and that's why we love the concept and it's in a nice bright yellow package, so it's easy to find on the store. Not to search for it.
Little happy face, huh?
Yeah, well, the Happy Face, and if you're around in some of the markets we are, then the Smile Squad that we have, which are a bunch of really fun, bright, uplifting people, can come and sample it for you and explain it all to you and the like too, and you can go on Facebook and find them, and there's one other thing too I'll tell you about, and you can find Leslie Stahl did a piece on 60 Minutes, I think it was about a year ago, talking about depression and the like. And, there's an awful lot about the placebo effect of certain brands and what they bring to you, and whether or not chemicals are really the answer. I would commend that to your audience too. Right? I don't know if buying a bottle of Happy Water and reading Happy and seeing the happiness around it helps, but I somehow think it does. And but if you go and take a look and seriously look at that, and maybe you can do a little more, do another segment with someone else on that the placebo effect, and something that they're now talking about called the informed placebo effect, where they actually tell you that you're getting this and that you're going to get, there's going to be a benefit derived from it, has an amazing impact on people's state of mind and the like.
Have you talked with neurologists about this? A lot of them, because I know a lot of them. I work with some, and I'd love to have a conversation with them about this.
About the placebo effect?
No, about lithium.
Oh, about lithium. Well, I haven't found it other than the ones that I would just find in the studies. I mean, you see, that's what happens with a lot of people. Someone will come along and someone will say, this Brussels sprouts are good for you, and they do this. And so you can't find an article to make the connection between the Brussels sprout and that result. The nice part about the lithium in the water at these levels is that you can find 50 articles on it. And they're science-based. Some of them are anecdotal, but the vast majority of them are scientific-based. So and they're all written in the last 20 or 30 years, so most of those people would be around. So we can help direct you to those people. But the most recent one of substance was the New York Times article with the doctor from Cornell. That was, and what's funny is it came out on a weekend, I believe. And my emails and it started to light up, and my phone started to ring when I come up. There's no reference to Happy Water whatsoever in that article. It was really quite stunning, and I didn't even know why. Talk to me, send me this, and it was but because it's pretty wide circulation, so it really a stunning effect.
Well, I'm going to make you a challenge. We have Boomer Expos over at Seminole Hard Rock twice a year. We have one coming up in July. I'd like to talk to you about maybe having a booth and giving out this water or doing something with it. Because we have over 2,000 people that come in one day. I absolutely would love this. This is pretty exciting stuff. You've got me kind of convinced here, and I know them at Whole Foods, and you better believe I will go over there. And,
go there and start a petition, circulate a petition, and get it in there. And because if we just go in first instance and present something, then it's a costly endeavor for us to do that and the like. So it's better to have pull than push. So we'd invite that in a heartbeat and like I say, go on, take a look at online and see our website. There's a lot of information on the water on our webpage. There's a lot of stuff on our Smile Squad on the Facebook site for them. And you really get a feel for the brand and what we're trying to do. And I can tell you that there's a quote that my wife used to go of John Lennon, and I think it goes something like this. And when he was in school, my teacher asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I answered happy. And he said, well, you obviously don't understand the assignment. And he says, well, I don't think you understand life. and I don't.
That's
and
fantastic.
you always hear people talking about when they're looking back on their lives and some major event that you ask if they wanted more money or they wanted more success and what they really wanted, and they'll always say, what, we just wanted to be happier.
Of course.
Since we started Happy Water, and I don't know if it's a causal effect or whether it's just a theme out there, but you'll see all sorts of ads around now that I never saw before with people with their marketing, from pharmacies to chocolate companies talking about happiness in their marketing and happy this and happy that. And I honestly think it's a timely theme because people are starting to appreciate that, it's just a key aspect to living, and there's no use going through and having all the money in the world if you're miserable.
Oh, you're absolutely right. In fact, the gentleman I just had on before was a very successful investment broker, and he said he really didn't like doing that. What he wanted to do was photography, and then he got and bought a big ranch in Texas, and he brings photographers from all over the world. He says he's happy now.
Well, that's right, and that's really what I was aspiring to. And a lot of people seem to find that they can find it in the latest handbag or the new sneaker or the new whatever. But it's not there. It exists in your head, and if you can get it to the point where you're actually allow your mind and your brain to be in an environment that is helpful. I'll tell you just one other aspect. You go around now. A big theme in waters is alkalinity, because in an alkaline state, it's apparently a lot more difficult for cancers to grow. So if you can get the alkalinity of your body up higher, so it's not acidic, it's alkaline, then because most of our diet today, a lot of the drinks we drink and the foods we eat are very acidic. So if you can balance that out by putting alkaline in, well, Happy Water just happens to be the same alkalinity of what your blood should be, in about, which is 7.4 pH. So that's the other aspect. But I don't know why this is. I don't know why the chemicals in not the chemicals, but the minerals that are in Happy Water as they come out of the ground. Why are they the same minerals that are in that you perspire? When you perspire, you get calcium, magnesium, potassium. That's all in Happy Water. And the lithium. I don't know. There's something about that spraying. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite a guest. I mean, one thing you don't lack is enthusiasm. I love it. I've been doing this for 25 years, and you're one of my better guests. I love this. We're going to have to do more stuff with you. You love this. Is this your premier product right now? Yes, and I had a bottle of Happy Water this morning, so it obviously made me more effusive. So there you go. Well, how about, don't you think you need to send me a bottle of water, so when I go to Whole Foods, what if they said, "Have you tasted it?" I have to say no. Can you arrange for that, please? It'll be on its way. We'll send you a trailer for it. Okay. Oh, you're really great. I'd really like to talk to you again and talk about what we can do to help with this. So you're saying it's really not in Florida yet? No, it's not yet. But we're going to try to be there by this fall, and we'd like to go and do a store or chain or a couple of chains. Well, I have some ideas. Consumers appreciate that. Right. Stuff. So I'm going to talk to you, but thank you. This has been a wonderful, wonderful interview. I thank you so much. It's Ralph McRae. He's the CEO of Leading Brands, and they're pursuing. Well, what they have is something called Happy Water. And we're going to get it down here in South Florida. So thanks so much again. Really appreciate your being with us, Ralph.